Hey guys, thanks for joining me. This is Jason from Outdoor Adventures. Today we're going to be looking at the Salomon Quest 4D GTX hiking boot. It is a mid-weight boot, full ankle support, gore-tex, waterproof, breathable boot. These have been a great boot for me. I'd say I have anywhere from 300 to 400 miles on these. The approximate weight of each boot is 22.1 ounces, and for the pair, that makes it 44 ounces. Or for you gram counters out there, 120 or 1,246 grams, or 2 pounds, 11.9 ounces. Okay, now let's take a look at the materials. On the outside of the boot, you have your rubber toe cup. This prevents you from stubbing your toes, basically, on rocks and stuff or other heavy objects. You have the suede leather mix on the actual boot itself, and on the inside you have the nylon mesh and gore-tex membrane, making these boots breathable and completely waterproof. Well, completely waterproof. These are size 8, and they are completely waterproof up to 5 and we'll say 5.5 inches. Basically because that's where the tongue stops. So usually you have your tongue inside, but water can still seep down. So 5.5 inches, size 8. Never had a problem with, walking through streams, low streams, mud, rain. Never had any problem like that. Now, as far as max mileage, I've gone in these. In one day, it was 19 miles, and on a single trip was 70 miles. These provided great ankle support, great comfort. Although I couldn't wait to get them off at the end of the day, just to let my feet breathe a little bit, just because I was sweating. I was using a sock liner and a wool sock. I only had one little blister, and that was on the bottom of my toe, and I wouldn't even blame it on the boots. I would blame it on the separate insoles I got. Actually, these are the insoles that I usually use. These are Superfeet greens. And I'm not really sure what happens, but I don't think it was the boot's fault. These are the stock insoles that you get. I just needed a little bit better arch support, even though these are pretty good. I just have really, really high arches. You have this, it's called an ortholite insole. It's very thin, it's breathable, it dries fairly fast, and you have this rubber little heel cup. And these do fairly well. Like I said, I need a bigger arch support, just because my foot has a huge arch. The break-in time is probably about 1 week with minimal walking. If you're on your feet all day, I'd say it's probably 2 or 3 days. But I'm at a computer desk, so it took me about a week, just kind of walking back and forth between the car. So really, really low break-in time. And these are pretty much comfortable right out of the box once you figure out the lacing system. And speaking of which, as far as the lacing system does go, the lacing system on here is a little unique compared to what some people may be used to. This particular boot allows you to, say you don't want your bottom of your foot as tight, and you want to have a lot of room up here. You can actually leave it loose here and loose here. You could tighten it here or leave it loose here. You could leave it loose, tighten it. You get the idea. And the way they do this is providing this little loop right here, which kind of locks the bottom half of the shoe in place. It doesn't allow it to go anywhere once it's crossed over. They can't really move that. And it allows you for a lot of versatility and comfort based on the way you need to hike. Say you have a lot of hills, you want to leave this open a little bit. Say you're on some really rocky terrain, you want to just tighten everything down. I have had these in heavy rain. I've had these in marshlands, completely muddy areas, rocks, uphills, downhills, soft grass, every kind of condition you could possibly think of besides the desert. I was in with these boots, and these boots performed very, very well. They come in several different colors, and again, check on Amazon or Zappos. You can find all the colors you'd ever want. they have this Contra Grip on the bottom, and it works fairly well, especially on, regular ground. I did have some problems on very slick rocks, but, every shoe or boot is going to do the same thing. So they're not the be-all, end-all in grips, but they do a very, very good job in my opinion. After a year and, 300, 400 miles walked in these boots, I can honestly tell you guys, these are an excellent boot. They kind of push you forward. I don't really know how to explain it. They're great for going down hills. You don't lose your grip. And the only problem I've ever had with these boots is, one, the laces do come untied. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Nobody else that I've ever talked to has that problem. I have the problem on my regular shoes, so that's not an issue. It's just something I'm doing wrong. I have no idea what. But the only problem that I have experienced is on my last trip, my last winter hiking trip. We went about 16 miles in the snow, and when I got to camp, my feet were completely wet. Now, I'm not sure if it was just the gore-tex being clogged and it wouldn't let my feet air out at all, or if there's an actual problem with the boot itself, mainly the right boot, which I'm thinking I stepped on a nail or something that I just can't see, or one of the seams wore. But that was the only issue I had. So what I did was, I first thought that maybe I needed to clean the gore-tex out. Maybe the membrane gotten clogged, which is what I've been reading online. So I took a small toothbrush and I worked it in here inside each boot and cleaned everything out. Now, I haven't used these since on a trip. I plan on doing another trip actually in 2 days. So maybe I'll post a follow-up in the description of, if it's a problem with the boot or if it was just a cleaning issue. I did call up customer service from Salomon. Got right through to a rep. I think I waited like 3 minutes. Rep answered right away. And I basically just asked them, I told them what happened, and I just wanted to know, some cleaning instructions, because there wasn't really anything on the website to, how you clean your manufacturer's boots. So the rep said, you know what, it sounds like there's a hole in your boot. So I said, okay, well, what do we do about it? He says, well, first of all you have to do is give me your model number and your email address. I'm like, okay, and we'll take care of basically everything else. They sent me a form, I filled it out, and I chose a color I wanted, and they actually went above and beyond my expectations, and they didn't even ask for these back, and they sent me these boots. Now, these boots are the 4D Quest 2 GTX. They are the updated models of these. These are, have all the same specs. The gore-tex, the Contra Grip, the 4D chassis, the lacing system, all the same stuff. But they're a little lighter, and the laces stay tied better, from what I'm seeing. So that's amazing. I wasn't expecting a brand new pair of boots. I was just expecting, some cleaning tips, or, if they could see what was wrong to replace the boot with the same model. So, guys, above and beyond my expectations, Salomon lives up to its name, and I cannot recommend another boot more than this pair, or, I guess, this pair. Now, I don't have a full review yet on these. I assume it's going to be basically the same as these, because it's pretty much all the same. The leather stitching at the top is angled back instead of forward on these, which I like better, because sometimes when you lace this up it does get stuck on here, but on the stitching, but it's not really a big deal. It never caused me an issue. So I will give my reviews at a later date on here. I want to get some miles in these and see exactly how they do, because they weigh less for a reason, and I'm going to see. Oh, and they also sent me a size down, so now I actually have winter boots and 3-season boots, which is even greater. So, in conclusion, great boot, guys. If you're looking for a solid hiking boot, all-round weather conditions, all-round season, definitely go with the Salomon Quest 4D GTX. Thanks, guys. My name is Jason from Outdoor Adventures. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helps somebody.